Good morning, traders. I am Emily Vani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Tuesday, July 1st. We kick off a new month and a new quarter today as the S&P 500 comes off another record close. During regular trading yesterday, the index picked up 31 points, or just more than 0.5%, to end above the 6,200 point mark. The Dow ended higher by 275 points, or 0.63%, and the Nasdaq also closed in the green, adding 96 points, or about 0.5%. Bill, let's get into Tuesday's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Yes, good morning, Emily. Hey, I'm watching the S&Ps. We're trading a little lower. I mean, we're down 0.26%, but we're at that level where, we're still really high. We really came back from those April lows. So, May was a great month. June was a positive month. And, here we are, down 0.27%. It's not that bad. Things are, seems to be ticking a little better overall. But, it's the same narrative. I mean, the trade talks are kind of like dominating, the markets, along with the budget reconciliation bill. Those are the two key things that are on focus today. The EU, apparently their trade negotiator has an offer to present. Now, where it's going to be, they're going to accept 10% universal tariffs. If key sectors are going to be exempted. Yeah, I don't think that's going to fly, but at least it's an offer. It's a starting point. Discussions can be held from there, but those talks are scheduled to happen this week. Let's talk about the Senate for a second. On Capitol Hill, the Senate is currently holding votes on that reconciliation bill. So if it passes, that could be something for the markets. You got to keep an eye on that. And let's talk about Fed Chairman Jerome Powell. He's scheduled to speak this morning at an ECB conference in Portugal. Now, this is this conference that he's at. It's kind of like the Jackson Hole event that we have in August in lieu of a Fed meeting. Well, they have one as well, and where all the ECB officials and economists and get together at a location. Markets will be paying attention to his speech. I don't expect him to say anything groundbreaking, but right before he left, he got a handwritten note from Donald Trump saying interest rates need to be at 0.5% rather than the 4.25, 4.50%, which you're currently at. That's just not going to happen. I mean, I can't see anybody doing that. I mean, the 0.5% interest rates, only a real estate guy would be demanding that. Gaming stocks, keep an eye on gaming stocks. They're moving higher this morning because you know what? Macau released their gaming revenue and it came in really strong. It was up, 19% year over year. So, gaming stocks are seeing, positive action this morning. Tesla, on the other hand, hey, that war of words with Donald Trump is continuing. You look at Tesla this morning, it's getting hit down over 6%. On the economic front today, we're waiting on the ISM Manufacturing data for June. Progressive Software, PRGS, they released earnings last night. Their earnings were positive. Didn't do, stocks not doing too well, though. But then we're taking a look over at Europe, and we're seeing what we're looking at the European action this morning. And for the most part, we are seeing weakness in Europe. I mean, the DAX is down 127 points. That's 0.53% this morning. You've seen weakness in the autos. The action's really, based on the trade talks with the U.S. And the EU this week. The FTSE's down 16 points, or 0.19%. UK housing prices unexpectedly fell in June, but mining stocks are really shining. They are moving higher. The CAC in Paris is down 26 points, or 0.34%. Defense stocks are weakening. That's causing the CAC index to move a little lower. Then we're turning our attention over to Asia, and we're taking a look at the Nikkei. The Nikkei fell 501 points. That's 1.24%. The big issue there was, the comments out of the White House, the rhetoric about pending Japanese tariffs really weighed on equities. Autos were lower, electronic stocks were lower. Hang Seng was closed, national holiday. July 1 is a national holiday for them. That's when Britain gave back control of Hong Kong to them. Shanghai in China finished higher by 0.39%, which was, good to see. I mean, the positive action was really due to the factory activity. The latest manufacturing data released came in at 50.4 50.4, which was higher than the May reading. The May reading came in at 48.3, so that rebound in June was a big positive, big reason why we saw gains in China last night. And then we're turning our attention over to oil. And listen, oil is trading higher. We're up about up over 0.5% this morning. Good to see. There's a couple near-term catalysts going on. We got the API report coming out today after the bell. Tomorrow morning, you got the EIA stockpiles report, and then of course you have the OPEC meeting that's upcoming. So you got three big catalysts, coming up. And if the API data, the EIA data could show draws and stockpiles, which would be beneficial for crude oil, but the OPEC meeting, they're talking about delivering another production hike, so that could be weakening. But for the right now, we're seeing oil moving higher by more than 0.6%. WTI $65.57 a barrel. You got Brent at $67.17 a barrel, and that's what I have for you in terms of morning market update, Emily.
We can hear there that you're following those oil moving catalysts, and you're also following, broader catalysts that'll be moving the markets. And, you pointed it out as well that, since April and May, when the markets really took a hit with the tariff talks and trade developments, really made up some ground here as we enter this new quarter. And being able to follow the macro trends and all of these market moving pieces of information becomes increasingly important in times like these. How can we stay with the markets or ahead of the markets and not trail behind to take advantage of opportunities? And you are following all sorts of information like earnings action, economic events, and you're still following other market moving information. So we're going to dive into some of the details throughout this show. We are waiting on a number of economic indicators, but before we get there, let's turn to earnings action. Bill, what is going on in terms of earnings?
Progressive Software, PRGS, came out last night. They beat by 10 cents. They did it on higher revenue. You look at the stock this morning, it's down about 3%. After the bell today, you got Greenbrier Companies, GBX, Graceboy, X-Ray. Their EPS is 86 cents. Expected move is 11.59%. Constellation Brands, that's ticker STZ, Sam, Tom, Zebra. Their EPS is $5.95. Expected move is 5.95%. Yeah, I don't like anything on the earnings front that's upcoming, but that's what I have for you in terms of earnings update, Emily.
And on the economic front, you did give us a preview yesterday that there are a number of key indicators coming throughout the week, really a lot of jobs data. And of course, you did mention in your opening that Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell will be speaking today. So let's dive into economic events. Bill, what is going on there?
Well, at 10 a.m., we get the ISM Manufacturing Index. I mean, the most recent data showed the ISM Manufacturing PMI came in at 48.5 for May. The June indication is expected to come in at 48.6, just a tick higher. So, okay. Then at 10 a.m., we got construction spending. You also got the JOLTS report coming out at 10 a.m. That could be something. And, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, he's going to be speaking today in Portugal, at that symposium. And that could be something. Market's going to be paying attention to him, and he's going to be speaking today at 9:30 a.m. when the market opens today, Emily.
And Bill, as those comments start coming in, you'll be gathering them using your NewsWare along with those economic reports that you mentioned. And you're still gathering other types of news data and information, looking at things like merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news, catalyst calls. Every morning, you're looking at your stocks grouped together, like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks, all set up in your NewsWare, an easy interface to sort of toggle between all these types of news. So, Bill, what else do you see as possibly moving the markets today?
Look at my Dow stocks this morning. I got 8 higher, I got 2 lower, and 2 unchanged, and the rest, the other 20 are lower. Look at my FANG stocks, seeing a little positive action in Apple, but everything else is trading lower. You're looking for some of the news behind the tape, like Amazon. Hey, they announced that they're going to be having their biggest Prime Day event ever, starting on July 8th. It's not. They really got to push this Prime Day because the latest Prime Days have not been the juggernaut to help their revenue as much as the earlier ones. So we'll keep an eye on the Prime Day sales as we get closer to the July 8th date. Google signed a deal to buy Commonwealth Fusion Systems. Now CFS, that's backed by Bill Gates. Tesla, you look at Tesla this morning, it's down 5.92% with a variety of negative headlines. I mean, first, you know, the Trump feud, is continuing to make headlines. Sales declined in Sweden and Denmark for the sixth straight month. JP Morgan is out there saying Tesla's demand weakness is likely going to continue in Q2. So, yeah, I'm not surprised to see, Tesla trading lower. It's beneath that $300 level. So, yeah, that weakness is continuing. Then we're moving over to Dow Jones 30 stocks, and we're looking at, Apple. They're expected to release a more affordable MacBook in Q1 of next year. Amazon, that's news stories are out there saying they're using more robots than humans in their warehouses. They're at least they're close to that figure. In terms of merger news, PKG, Paul Kilo Grace, that's Packaging Corp. PKG to purchase Grief Container Board business for $1.8 billion in cash. Guidance news, PRGS, Progressive Software, sees Q3 EPS $1.28 to $1.34. Street estimates $1.30. Yeah, okay. Shareholder meeting, Signet Jewelers, ticker SIG, Sam India Grace. They're having a shareholders meeting today, 11:30 a.m. In terms of catalyst calls, TTD, Tom David, that's Trade Desk. Citibank ups its price target, and they added it to the 90-day catalyst watch list, TTD, Tom David. And ARCT, Apple Richard Charlie Tom. This is Arceus Therapeutics. Citibank added it to its 90-day catalyst watch list. That's what I have for you about news hitting the tape today, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. It is now that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day, but we're kicking off a new month and a new quarter. What is your pick of the day today?
Going with Alcoa, ticker AA. I think it could see a leg higher today, with that passage of the big, beautiful bill. If that happens, I would expect Alcoa to be able to see some positive action. You look at yesterday's call volume, 12,000 calls versus 5,000 puts. I mean, that is positive. And the major brokers, they have been raising price targets on the stock. So, that's positive. And, in terms of an entry point, 29.05 to 29.25, kind of in that area, that's what I'm looking at. I think that would be optimal for me to be able to pull out a 1% gain on the stock if it trades in that area. So, that's my price target for today for Alcoa, ticker AA, Apple. That's my pick of the day today, Emily.
Alcoa it is today, again, sort of trading this news cycle, an example of why keeping track of all of this information can mean advantage for opportunities for a gain. And coming up, we will see if you were able to make a gain in yesterday's pick of the day when we do a recap on that. But first, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, take it away.
Okay, Capstone Holdings signs letter of intent to acquire Southeast Stone Company. Tesla stock falls as the Trump-Musk feud is broken. Trump threatens to deport Musk. Is that headline? Trump says no tax on Social Security. Okay. Musk is upset about the loss of EV mandate. He could lose a lot more than that. Macau reports June casino revenue up 19% year over year. Senate Republicans continue to struggle to unite on Trump's $3.3 trillion tax cut bill. Doge is now targeting SEC policies eyeing those SPAC rules. Dollars trading at multi-year lows, having lost more than 10% in value against a basket of 6 other currencies in the first half of the year. Boeing appointed a new CFO. This guy Kelly Orte, he's really making change around that C-suite. That's all I'm seeing this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we dive into trading here in July, let's do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day, which was Citigroup. Now, Bill, you made this pick following the Fed stress test on the bank, and they pointed out that their stress tests showed that the large banks are well positioned, even in a recession that the banks passed. Felt like there could be some positive momentum following this news. Also, that there could be a possible pickup in merger activity, leading to some gains in the stock. Bill, how did your call work out?
mean, it was okay. I mean, the stock opened up at $84.90, then fell down to $84.61. Remember, I was saying 84.70, and then it rallied. It rallied. It rallied and moved higher up to 85.44, which is like 10 cents away from the 1%. 10 cents away, and so it was flat to higher on the day because it closed at 85.12. So if you were trading this yesterday, you got a gain. That's the positive, but it wasn't the 1% that we shoot for, so it was kind of a flat trade in terms of our calculations, Emily.
Still a move higher there, even if it is closer to flat than that 1%. But with that, in June, you had 20 picks. If you count that Citigroup pick as a flat, that was 3 flats, but no real losses. So if we toss out those flat trades, you're looking at a 100% win rate last month. That isn't so bad. And we will check in with you tomorrow about today's Alcoa pick of the day, see how we kick off July. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.